Alrighty, welcome to another episode of Midwestern Garage. Today I'm going to be working on this 1963 and a half Ford Galaxie 500 fastback, also referred to as the sports roof. This is going to be kind of an ambitious project. I am going to see if I can get this thing fired up, running and driving to make it to the Goodguys car show in Des Moines, Iowa in about 12 days. I've had this car for about a month now, haven't really had any time to tinker on it. I did make a short video of just cleaning it up, vacuuming all the stuff out, tearing the headliner down, things of that nature. I did get some new wheels and tires. I kind of plan on doing a NASCAR tribute type thing with this. That way I can kind of drive it and enjoy it, and if the bodywork's not perfect, it's no big deal if it's supposed to look all banged up and ratty like an old race car. So eventually I do want to fully restore it, do all the quarter panels and do it right, but for right now I've got so many other things going on. I'd like to just get it going down the road and enjoy it for a little bit and just kind of fix it up as I go. It is currently a 352 two-barrel with a 3 on the tree manual transmission. As far as I can tell, it is a T85 3-speed. I oddly enough do have a T5 out of a 95 Mustang at my house, and there is a company that makes an adapter plate to bolt the T5 to where a T10 or a T85 would go, so I could use the bell housing, clutch, all that stuff existing, and just slide the T5 behind it and cut a hole in the floor. I'm assuming I'll have to change the drive shaft length, but we shall see. Today got a couple goals. I'm gonna try and get to the brakes, do nothing. Master cylinders just rock solid, sealed single master. So I figured, for time's sake, instead of trying to convert, or just find the right parts, get all the old existing stuff working, I am just going to put a nice conversion kit, Willwood disc brakes. Got it from Speedway Motors down in Lincoln, just 45 minutes away. So I pretty much got them the next day, and it's the whole kit. So other than the master, which I got a master from Speedway as well, and other than some hard lines that'll probably be bad, hopefully this kit will make it much quicker than just trying to repair the stuff that's there. The rears do look fairly good. Hopefully I can salvage the rear brake lines. I'll probably change the consumables on the back, like the rear brake hose, things of that nature. Let me get it up on a lift and I'll show you the underside. Alright, let's take a little walk through of the underside of this. Pretty standard worn out tie rod ends, dried out bushings, pretty standard stuff. Does look pretty good underneath, like it hasn't been in an accident or bottomed out. Nothing nothing crazy going on, you know. Looks like ball joint pushing out a lot of grease, but hey, someone kept greasing it, so at least we got that. The one concerning thing I did find the other day is hole in the oil pan, which is odd because when I got it, I checked the oil before I cranked it over and it had oil in it. And if you stick something in that little hole, there's something above it. So, but it's definitely leaking. I'm worried that this has shoved against the pickup tube. It might be partially blocking that off. So today I'm going to take the pan off. I did order a new oil pan from Summit. It's kind of a, you know, one of them kind of gold color Moroso knockoff ones from Summit. Here's this monstrous 3-speed. It's kind of insane. This is behind a big block or a medium block. The tail shaft's about, I don't know, 18 inches, 2 foot long. Super weird. It looks like an old Mopar. But body mounts thus far good. Frame solid. You know, we got the typical rocker stuff, which here in Nebraska, good luck finding a car that's not like that. But overall, body mounts are good. There is 2 that aren't, but I will show you them in a minute. Everything's pretty solid, you know, not too bad. I can work with it. This is a Ford 9-inch. It's hopefully the drums back here will cooperate and not blow the line apart or anything silly. I will probably change this rubber line because they can collapse inside and give you some problems when you're trying to bleed them and use them. Here is the super common issue with these Galaxies. The second to last body mount rusts away. I'm assuming it's just everything getting thrown off the back tire and no protection. It gets up in this channel and then just comes down and just eats away. And the issue with that is that's where the fuel tank is strapped. So when that cross member rusts out, boom, the fuel tank hits the ground. There's some typical pinholes, but for the sake of what I'm trying to do, get this thing on the road, get it to Goodguys, just have a little fun 2.5 hour road trip with it. Not too bad. Hopefully I can get her done. Obviously, when I pull that oil pan, if there's big issues, then we'll have to see what we can do from there. I did not notice that the other day. There's a hole on the front side of the wheel well. This side's not as bad. It's not through yet. But today, I'm gonna figure out a way in this. I'm gonna cut out all this cruddy stuff. I'm gonna grind a hole through the floor pan. I'm gonna put a piece of angle iron through from the top, and then I'm gonna put a piece of flat bar underneath and sandwich what I got left there and then grind the slot for the tank straps. I thought ahead. I knew it didn't have a tank in it when I bought it, so I've got a new sender, a new tank, new straps, new cap. Something to note, if you're ordering a fuel sender, there's two different styles. Most of the cars have a 5/16 fuel supply that runs down to the bottom of the tank, and the 427 cars have a 3/8. So everything's the same, tank's the same, sender's the same, it's just the size of that tube. And since I plan on doing some motor work, bumping the power up, and while I'm replacing this, it's definitely noteworthy to just buy the larger 3/8 fuel supply, fuel sender. That way I can just run 3/8 line all the way up. And for now, I'm just going to keep it 2-barrel just to get it to the car show, but down the road I do want to kind of turn this up, make it fun. So I have all the groundwork laid to supply enough fuel for when I'm actually making some good power out of this. So for now, I'll set the camera up, I'll start grinding some of this out, and then I'll get that channel in place. Alright, got an interesting find here. I had Ryan taking the front drums off so I can put the Willwood kit on, and he pulled the drum off because there's no point in fighting the spindle and the drum apart. So we just took the wheel bearing off because the new kit comes with all of it, and there are no shoes, no spring, no adjuster, no nothing, just the drum and the spindle, no front brakes whatsoever. And we're gonna pull this other side off for the first time to see if it's the same way too. Grab that bearing out if you can. Maybe you can't. Alright, we backed off the adjuster a little bit. Alright, this side is how it should look. So I'm guessing somebody had that wheel hanging up on that side and they just knocked the drum off and tore the guts out so it would roll. Or just goes to show you, you always got to double check everything when you get it, because if the brake master would work and it wasn't seized up, you would have filled it up and bled the system. You'd have hit the brakes and it would have just blown the wheel cylinders out and just dumped all the fluid on the ground. So, and then I'll show you back here kind of what I got going on for this makeshift tank mount. So what I'm going to do is take this piece of angle. I'm going to come in from the top down, and that's going to come down through the top, and then I'm going to bolt a 1-inch piece of flat bar, basically sandwich that together, and then on top I will put on the top side I'll put a wider piece tying this trunk floor back to, basically bridging that back together, because obviously that's too loose now. and I want to be able to put stuff in the trunk, so I'll have to get some 4-inch wide something to put in there to tie that all back together. And then obviously down the road, put a whole new floor section in, do it right. But yeah, I'll get that bar dropped in from the top and show you what that looks like. Alright, chipping away at this disc brake conversion. Basically all we've done so far is just taken everything off that pertains to the drum brakes and just kind of cleaned it up. And then I got everything laid out for the Willwood kit. Everything looks good on that. And then this is kind of everything that comes with the entire kit. So you got caliper, here's all your bearings. Those are your brackets to retrofit from the drum. There's all your hardware. Your spacer shim, yep, spacer pads, rotors. I'll get those brackets thrown on and I'll show you what it looks like once it's put on there. Alright, here is the Willwood kit all mocked up. There's just some spacers come with the kit. Obviously the kit gives you instructions on what spacers go where. For the brackets they provide pretty straightforward, goes together so easy a child could do it. Oh, thanks. Pretty neat. Just two brackets that interlock, and there's some spacers and some shims just to get the spacing all correct. Let's see if I can get the camera. There we go. So good alignment with everything. Like I said, it all just bolts. Have you lock threaded it yet? Okay, so now that everything's mocked up, we take one bolt out at a time, lock thread it, put it back together, and torque it. The manual comes with all the torque specs. Pretty sweet little kit. Pretty straightforward. Pretty much gives you everything. Did it come with hoses? Okay. Kit comes with everything but hoses. I did think it came with a hose, but apparently it doesn't. But at least they tell you what flange you need. Probably gonna take a banjo. Alright. And then in the back, got some rust treatment that's going to be between the other pieces of plate I'm going to sandwich in here, so I just wanted to treat that so it didn't continue rusting. And then I'm going to sandwich some steel up here to actually give it some structure and strength, and I'll actually show you what that's like here in a sec. Alright, so for the temporary tank mounting, this is kind of what I've come up with. I've taken some 1/8 inch plate, I've sandwiched, so directly under the 1/8 inch plate on the back side is that 2-inch angle. Under the 2-inch angle is the original doubled up sheet metal, and then under that is a 1-inch wide flat bar. I think it's 1/8 inch as well. And they, for now, are just self-tapped all together. So there's some self-tap on the angle coming up. I cut the heads off flush, and then I sank down these 5 from the top down. So essentially there's 10 self-tappers in opposite directions. And then on this front side there is a plate sandwiching the original sheet metal to this 1/8 inch plate, and those are screwed up from the bottom, and then I cut those flush. Camera's really not picking up well, but for now it's just roughed in. I've got to fix these. This is not staying like this, but I mean, the trunk is solid, the tank isn't going to fall out, and I'll show you what the bottom side looks like. Alright, here's what I got going on the underside. This front bar is a separate 3-inch wide plate. Just brushed on some chassis saver. It's kind of like a rust preventative, rust reformer type thicker chassis paint. Oops, sorry about that. I did brush that stuff on each layer, so the bottom side of the sheet metal got it before I bolted the angle in and the plate. Now keep in mind, this is in no way, shape, or form permanent, but in the hopes of getting this thing roadworthy in a week and a half, this is what I got. So luckily, like I said, blower is solid again, and most importantly, I am ready to throw this brand new tank in, and I'll show you that here in a sec. Alright, finally got the tank wrestled in there. Looks good. Lines up good. That's if I get to plating that before I gotta go to Goodguys, cool. If not, all the other body mounts look fine, and it's 220 horse on its best day. I'm not really worried about car coming apart or anything like that. Ryan's currently under the dash putting the disc drum power brake booster assembly on. It's over here on the cart. That's the bracket, that's the booster, that's the master, and then the proportioning valve is there. The Willwoods are all done. The brake portion, as far as at the wheels, are completely done. So next thing we're probably going to get working on is actually get the motor fired. So run a little fuel line along the frame rail, get a new fuel pump for it. I've got one of those Pertronic, actually I think it's just a Speedway HEI distributor, so it just needs one wire to fire, which now that I'm looking at that coolant overflow, that probably won't work, but I want to get this thing running, make sure the head gasket's good. I got the oil pan arriving tomorrow. Put the oil pan on, make sure there's nothing funky down there. And like I said, see if we can get this thing running. I might order up an aluminum radiator tonight just to make sure it's not going to overheat on me. It's supposed to be in the 90s for the car show. Progress is a little slower than I was hoping, but
it's okay. We can tell you when you overheat. You can tell us when we fucking overheat.
it's been tickling around 100 lately, so kind of miserable working in the shop. So not too surprising. Progress has been slow, but this is going to be the end of the part 1 of getting this thing ready to go to Goodguys. I'll probably make a second, maybe a third, depending how things go. But thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.